Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Miriam. I'm your local Medicare advisor. And as always, my goal is to help you better understand your options so you can make confident decisions about your health care. Quick reminder, I'm not affiliated with the government or Medicare, and I don't offer every plan available. You can always visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE for all of your options. Now, today's topic is a really important one. What happens when your Medicare when life changes? Because here's the truth. As life changes, it's important to review your Medicare coverage to make sure it still fits your needs. So one example I'm going to share with you that it's a life-changing event. It's moving. Right. So especially here in Florida, right, I see a lot of movement, a lot of people either moving to Florida or some moving out of Florida, right, because it's getting a little expensive here for a lot of us. So I do see that a lot. So I recently spoke with a gentleman who moved from New York down to Boca. He had a Medicare plan and thought everything would just transfer over. But when he went to his doctor, he found out they weren't in the network anymore. He was frustrated, confused, and honestly, a little stressed. He just thought, hey, when he called me, he's like, hey, Miriam, I just thought this plan was just going to auto-renew to the new address. Well, it does not. Unless you inform Medicare, right? That's kind of like your first step. You're informing Medicare of the move. Once you have your new address and everything, you would notify Medicare. And then a lot of times Medicare will notify whoever your carrier is of the change. It doesn't always happen, but when it does, that carrier will send you a letter letting you know that they were just informed of a change and just let you know, right? Is that plan even being offered in your new address, right? Because that happens sometimes. A lot of the plans we have in other regions may not be offered in your new address. So it's very important that one, you review everything. Two, that you talk to a licensed agent or talk to Medicare. Let them know, hey, I'm moving to Palm Beach, Florida, and this is my new address. And then speak to a licensed agent that is familiar with the plans here to see what are the options for you? Because the good news is when you do make a move, you qualify for a special enrollment period. And another good news is we were able to get him into a plan that worked here locally for him. So keep in mind, all these places, wherever you move in the States, there are plans, at least most of the time. I think I've only found like 2 areas where we were very, very limited. But please, before you make a move, talk to a licensed agent. Start getting familiarized with the plans that are being offered. Because sometimes I've seen people say, well, I'm going to go to this new area. I'm moving here because it's, economical for me. I found this beautiful house, whatever the story is. And then after the move is taken, right? They already purchased a beautiful home, and then your plans are not being offered there. The plans that you're looking for are not being offered. We're very limited. So it's very important that you understand the plans before you even make that move. Okay. So a quick review could save you a lot of money. So it's very important that you review this before you make any changes. 2, retirement. Losing coverage, right? This is a big one. I had a client whose employer coverage was ending and they didn't realize how important timing was. I think with retirement, timing is very, very important. Actually, in general, timing is very important, but with retirement, it's crucial. I had a client that waited, right? Thinking they had more time, and they missed one of their best opportunity they had to get a supplement plan without underwriting. And here's something really important I want you to understand. When you first come onto Medicare Part B, you also have a one-time opportunity to enroll in a Medicare supplement plan without answering health questions. So I have some people that know that when they turn 65, they have that guaranteed issue in Florida. Well, guess what? A lot of times when it's your first time enrolling in Part B, you also have that one-time opportunity to enroll in a Medicare supplement without answering any health questions. So it's very important that you understand that. And just for you to know, that's what we call your guaranteed issue window, right? It's either when you turn 65 and it's 6 months, they give you 6 months to enroll in that one-time opportunity. So if you miss that window, you may have to go through medical underwriting later, and that can make it harder to qualify depending on your health. Now, for this gentleman, we did find a solution, and it wasn't easy, but he was able to get on that Medicare supplement plan. So it's very important that you take advantage of these enrollment periods and that you understand how they work, right? Because you don't want to miss out on a Medicare supplement plan if that's the route you want to take, and then later find out, hey, you're off by a couple of days. Because I've had that situation happen where a client was off by a couple of days, and unfortunately he was not able to get on a Medicare supplement. So it's very important that you understand and not miss the window. Okay. Now there's another situation. Not only do you miss the window to get on a supplement plan, but a lot of times you could also miss a window and end up paying for penalties, right? Medicare does have penalties, and there is important enrollment periods there, right? And a lot of times these penalties are for life. So again, very important that you understand these enrollment periods, right? That's why timing matters so much. So if you're approaching retirement or even thinking about it, it's so important that you start learning about this, or talk to your trusted agent, or call us, right? That's why we're here. Myriam, 561-464-2273. Just ask to speak to me. I have Maria here. A lot of our listeners already know Maria very well. If I'm unavailable, she's here to help as well. With any questions, you're not obligated to sign up or enroll. You'll never get a bill from us, so you're welcome to call us with any questions. So again, it's really important that to have a plan in place ahead of time, especially in retirement, especially for those making a contributions to their HSA account. You want to look at that 6 months prior, or even 8 months prior to that retirement. Start getting your information. So again, plan ahead of time. So if you're listening and thinking about retiring anytime soon, we're happy to take a look and guide you. One other life-changing, unfortunately, this is very personal, but losing a spouse. I've worked with individuals who suddenly had to make a decision they had never handled before. And I say handled because I've seen this a lot. I'll get a spouse that will say, oh, my partner handled everything and now they're not here. I had a client, one in particular that I always remember. She looked at me and says, my husband always took care of everything. I don't even know where to start. And honestly, that's more common than you think. I hear this all the time. And I want you to know that if this sounds like your situation, you're not alone. I see this a lot. So this lady that I worked with, when she first turned 65, about, that window that I talk about, right? 3 months prior to your 65th birthday, your 65th birthday month, and 3 months after. It's a very important time. She lost her husband within that time. Her husband died of cancer, unfortunately, and she was going through an emotional time, and her husband handled everything. So when she was referred to me, a whole year had gone by, and we couldn't do anything. I couldn't enroll her. She wasn't in any type of enrollment period. We had to wait almost like a year and a half later. And it was so sad because she was going to be penalized, and we tried to appeal it. And unfortunately, in her situation, every case is different. We didn't win the appeal. She was responsible for this penalty. And it's just sad to see that this lady was going through a hard time. Her husband handled everything, and now she was hit with a penalty, and most likely for life. So I know that it's hard and it's an emotional time, but it's very important that you look into these things, that if you're in that your 65th birthday month or retirement, or you're coming off a employer sponsored plan, it's an important time for you to enroll in Medicare if you're not in Medicare, or at least get your information or talk to someone that can guide you. So again, get your information. Timing is key. Another is health changes, right? I had a client who was perfectly healthy one year. Everything was fine. The next year, they were prescribed a specialty medication, and suddenly their costs changed completely. Same plan, different needs. That's why I always say your plan should match your current situation, not last year's. It's very important that we stay on top of these things, right? If your health changes and we're in an enrollment period or a special enrollment period for you, take advantage of it because you're able to make that change to better fit you, right? That is the key. One thing I want to talk about is family stepping in. I always talk to my clients about this. I know this plan is for you and individually just for you. It's for no one else. But sometimes adult children step in to help the parent, right? I recently worked with a daughter who called me and said, my mom is overwhelmed. I need to understand what she has. I went through everything with her because in this case, the daughter did have a POA. So I was able to talk to her and she was able to handle everything for mom. A lot of times we don't share this information with our adult children. What I've seen, it helps to talk to your children. Let them know what you have. Tell them, look, I'm an original Medicare along with a supplement. This is my information. Or I'm on a Medicare Advantage. Whatever the story is, let them know. Share this information with them. It's so important because working in this field for so long, I've noticed I've worked with a lot of adult children and they call me and they're like clueless. They're like, Myriam, I have no clue how Medicare, right, works or what does mom or dad have. I have no clue. So it's important that you talk to them. Let them know, listen, this is my plan. Or if you're working with an agent that you trust, especially if I'm your agent, let your adult children know, this is my agent, Myriam. She handles everything for me. Give them my business card, give them my number, my email, whatever you want. Let them know who we are so then they can call us in case they need us, right? Because a lot of times things happen, right? Like in my case, my father, when he got diagnosed with the brain tumor last year, it just went so quickly. And I just became that person in charge, right? He wasn't able to make these decisions for himself. So I had to step in. Thankfully, I knew everything he had. I knew what his plan was. I understood everything that dad wanted. In my case. So I think it's important that you speak to your adult children and let them know, this is what I have. This is my agent in case you need to contact them for anything, in case you need to make a change. A lot of times, we're not in a position to make our decisions and our adult children they need to understand all this. So if they do need to make a change, they can, right? So that is very important. I see it a lot. So please talk to your adult children or whoever, if you have a guardian or someone you trust, let them know what you have. Give them my number and I'll be happy to help and guide them as much as I can. Medicare tip of the week. So here's your Medicare tip of the week. Always, always, always review your plan at least once a year, even if nothing has changed. Listen, I get it. I am one that does not like change. But when it comes to your healthcare, it's very important, right? Because small changes can turn into big costs. If you're not paying attention, bills can go up and up and up and up. So it's very important as things change, right? I know a lot of you are already locked in a plan for the year, but if something happened, right, your finances changed or your doctors or your health, look into your plan. We have the Medicare enrollment period that runs from October 15th through December 7th, and you want to take advantage. Just review it. No one is saying make a change. You may not need to make a change. That plan might be the perfect one for you for a really long time. As long as that plan continues on, you could stick with it. So it's very important that, one, you review it. So that is one of my major tips. I share that all the time. So review. Another quick takeaways. So if you take anything from today, let it be this. Don't set it and forget it. Review your plan when life changes. Ask questions. Sometimes I have clients that keep apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry. One more question. I'm sorry. It's okay. At least I will tell you, I love questions. Every time my clients keep saying, sorry, I'm like, no, please keep going. I love questions, please. So if you're working with someone, if you're dealing with Medicare, if you're dealing with healthcare, if you're dealing with Social Security, ask questions, get your information. It's so important. So please, please, please ask questions, and don't do it alone. You're not alone. I know there's a lot of information out there online. I get it. I use it myself sometimes. I'll go in there and ask AI, but not all the information is tailored to our needs. That is general public information. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to make sense for you and actually suit you the best. So that's why it's important that you speak to someone that is licensed, that can understand your needs and put you on a plan that better fits you. So that is just one thing that don't do it alone. Get help. Ask questions. That's why we're here. So if you or someone you love is going through a life change, moving, retiring, or just unsure what to do next, we're here to guide you every step of the way. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us, 561-464-2273. There is no cost for our services. You're welcome to call us, no obligation. Just because you call and ask questions doesn't mean you have to sign up with any of the plans. Please just reach out and we're here to help. Let's see what other thing I wanted. Oh, yes, I had a couple of questions that I received this week that I wanted to go over. Can I keep my doctors if I move? The answer is it depends, right? If you have original Medicare with a supplement, you can usually see any doctor nationwide that accepts Medicare. But if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, those plans are based on a network. And when you move, your plan or your doctors may not be available. The good news is, again, if you learned, you would know that moving can typically give you an opportunity to make a change and find a plan that works in your new area, right? So again, if you move, it should give you that special enrollment period to enroll in a new plan that better suits you in that new area that you've moved to. So if you're planning on moving or moving here officially, right? I have a lot of snowbirds. They're like, okay, Myriam, now I've decided my accountant, I hear that story a lot. My accountant said I should move to Florida. So yes, start talking to an agent, start getting familiarized with the new plans, make sure it suits you. Next question is, do I need a Part D plan if I don't take medications? Technically, no, Medicare doesn't make it mandatory, but in most cases, it's still a good idea. I always tell people, please take a Part D. There's so many plans to choose from. There are some very economical. You're better off getting one because if you don't have a credible Part D plan, you may get penalized at a later point. So very important that you understand. I know that most of us, thankfully, we're healthy. We don't need any medication. So we think, I don't need medications. I'm not taking any medications. So I'm not going to do a prescription drug plan. Please look into them. Because if there's one that's super economical, enroll in it. It doesn't hurt, right? Because then at least you're prepared in the future in case you do need medications, you have something in place. And two, you won't be subject to that penalty, right? So very important that you look into that. Third question that I got, and this is my last question, is I'm retiring at 62. Can I take Medicare at 62? So if you retire at 62, you cannot enroll in Medicare yet. You'll need other coverage until 65. Right? So you could only qualify for Medicare if you're 65 and over. You've been on Social Security disability for 24 months, or you have certain conditions, right? Like ESRD or ALS. Typically, that will qualify you for Medicare. But if you're 62 and retiring, I get this actually very common. You're 62 and now you want to get on Medicare because you're collecting Social Security. That's not the way it works. Typically, you'll start at age 65 during your birthday month. So very important. Get your education. Timing is key. So again, thank you so much for listening today. Remember, you don't have to figure Medicare out on your own. We're here to help guide you every step of the way. I look forward to talking with you next time on Medicare Made Simple.